Hello everybody, my name is Hal. This is Quail Studios Guitar. Welcome and thank you for being here. I see Tom from Pennsylvania. I see Bob. Thank you, Bob, for being here and helping us out. We've got Dwayne and Dean and Joseph. Hello, Joseph. And this is great to have you all here. Thank you very much. Today we're going to talk about making learning guitar easier. Let me pull up one thing here so I can look at it. So we're going to talk about finding a melody. Let's see here. We're going to learn how to learn a song quickly with the resources that you have, and how to find the melody, find the chords, learn the melody separate from the chords, and then combine the melody and the chords together. This is really important, but it's also important when you have a tablature that you've pulled up and you think you want to learn something, and it's got all kinds of numbers all over the place. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to use Greensleeves, and Greensleeves is also the melody for What Child Is This? I'm going to pull that up on the screen. You can see this on my website, which is quail-studios.com, and there is a link in the description to the guitar page. There's also links in the description to the sheets that I'm going to show you right now. So here's, let's see, I pulled up the wrong one. Let me change that to this one here. And I'm going to take myself off the screen so you can see it a little better. And you'll notice that this says Greensleeves. It's a traditional English folk song. This is, I should probably put this in my book. I don't know if I have this in my book. I don't think I do. But you can find it on my website and also in the description of this video. You'll notice that there is a traditional music line right there. It says guitar. And then there's a tab line on the bottom. Now, some people really like to see the notes. Let me pull myself back up here so I can talk to you here. Some people really like to see the actual notes, the written out music with the notes, like a quarter note, half note, eighth notes, that kind of thing. And of course, if you don't read traditional music, you probably don't want to see that. You probably just want to see the tab if you're a guitar player. Let's go back here. And you can see that in this, I've got both. Also, I've got chord boxes above the music. And I do that on purpose. But sometimes you just get a tab, like if you go to Ultimate Guitar or something like that, you will just get a tab and you won't have any of that other stuff. You don't necessarily have chord boxes, you just have all these numbers. Well, sometimes when you're playing, and I don't care if you're playing something from AC/DC or something from traditional classical music or something like that, you have to, a lot of times you have to look and combine things in your mind. For instance, if you see a 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, you know, going from the bottom up. Now let me pull up my music again, like this. And I'm looking right here. I'm going to put my cursor right here. You'll notice that there's a note right there. It's a 2 on the D string, and then going to a 1. Now, the notes right here that have stems going up like this, those are the melody notes. Right there. I'm pointing to them right there, right there, right there, and right there. But you'll notice that there's other notes. Now let me go to a different version of this. I have this Greensleeves version right here that doesn't have all of those notes. This is just the melody, and it's the chords. And I'm going to show you what to do with that. I'm going to leave that on the screen for a second so you can take a screenshot of it, or you can go in the description and look at the music, or you can even download it if you want to. It's downloadable. You can print it out, whatever you want to do. So when you're looking at this music right here, this is the same as this. But what I did was on this particular one, this has all the notes that I suggest that you could play, and this one is just the melody. So part of what you need to do when you're looking at a tab like this with all of those numbers on there is you need to learn how to take off, let's say, how should I say this? Ignore the things that are not important, the things that are not the melody, because if you wanted to learn, let's see here, there we go. If you wanted to learn this melody, right? If you wanted to learn that, but you're not very good at reading all that tab and everything, then, and you don't have a simplified version like I just showed you, you need to figure out, well, what is the melody? And so you start looking at right? Finding out where the melody is and ignoring everything else. Because what we need to do when we're putting things together like that, if you want to play a melody and chords together, and now this happens all the time. It happens, you know, in something we did the other week. Right, I'm sitting in the railway station, right? When you're doing something like that and you're looking at the tab, what's the most important thing I need to do? How do I do that? Well, this other one, I'm just using Greensleeves as an example. You need to learn the melody. Now I'm just finger picking that. I could use a pick like this. Right? So I can use a pick, and I'm going to show you how to incorporate a melody and chords together in just a moment. Let me look at my, see if anybody has any questions. Let's see. We've got Lisa here from California. It says, Joseph says, watched an old Rifleman show. Mark McCain played Greensleeves on that episode. Johnny Crawford was a musician and songwriter. A little trivia. Thank you. Chimp number 1 is here. Hello. It's good to see you. Okay. That's all I need to read, I think. So what we're doing here now, some people, when they're starting out, they might just use one finger like this. I'm going to show you my left hand, okay? And that's okay, but it's better to, on this particular song, to learn how to use fingers 1, 2, and 3 on measures 1, 2, and 3. Third finger, first finger, open, 2. I'm sorry, I'm messing up because I'm trying to do it and talk at the same time. Just watch. See, I'm using different fingers. So every time I play something on the second fret, I'm using my second finger. And this is really good. Now let's go back to that tablature right here. I'm going to pull up the simplified version and show you right here. See that? So what we've got, you've also got these chords at the top. We've got A minor, and then a G with a B bass. And if you can see, we're going to talk about the X's and the O's in those chord boxes too. C chord, G with a B bass, E minor. Let me take that off the screen and I'll show you without that. We got A minor, G with a B bass, C, back to G with a B bass, E minor. Right? And you'll notice that I'm playing my E minor like this, because when I go to my A minor, I just have to move up to those. E minor, A minor. This is very, very good. Going back and forth between E minor and A minor with these two fingers, instead of using this and trying to do it that way. So you've got to know the melody. You've got to have it down. Now this also has to do with Here Comes the Sun. I've got my capo on the 3rd fret because it's a little easier to play this Greensleeves with capo on the 3rd fret. Right? And you got to know where that melody is. Right? So you got to be able to have that in place, and then you have your chords. See what I'm doing there? Or hit the A note. Now that's where I got to know my notes. I got to know my chords. D, G, A7. Same thing with Greensleeves, right? You know your notes. Now on that sheet that I showed you a second ago, let me pull it back up here. You'll notice that there is an A minor chord, and what I do is for that A minor chord, you just hold it, right? That's where your melody is. You go to the G with the B bass, the melody is right there, C chord, and then we go out of that chord and play 1 open on the E string, and then back to the G with the B bass, open, E minor. Then we have to use our finger to do that. So mostly it's in those shape of those chords. Now, if you wanted to work on this, and you can do this with Here Comes the Sun or any other song that you're learning how to finger pick. I'm going to show you in just a minute with a pick and show you how that works. So you can play the bass note and the melody. You'll notice that I'm actually fingering the chords just in case I hit any of the other strings. It'll sound good. I'm going to start over. Okay, so I've got my melody, I've got my chords. Well, actually I'm not playing chords, I'm just playing bass notes. You'll notice that it sounds good. In that Paul Simon song that we did the other day, the Homeward Bound. Right, he has this little thing that goes, right? And he plays the bass note and a melody note, and then a bass note, and a melody note, and a bass note. And actually it's a G chord. It's like an A minor chord, and a G with a B bass. So if I fingered those chords, right, if I just played the bass note and the melody, I'd be getting exactly what Paul plays. Right? You can also fill in the chords. I'm going to fill in the chords with my pick. See that? Now, for that A minor, I could do the A minor. Let's see. See what it sounds like. See that? Now, one thing about that song, let's see if I can do a little faster. Or with my hand. See that? I don't have to play that whole chord. See that? Those notes act like a drone note. Sounds really good. This is the same idea. It's not different. It's the same idea. So we have this. Now I'm going to play the melody with the chord. Let's do it just with my finger for a second. And I'm stopping on that 1st fret B string because that's my melody note. It would be best if you could look at these on your screen while we talk about it so that we can see it, or print them out and put them in front of you while you do this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm looking at Greensleeves, and the melody only version. And then G with the B bass. I'm stopping there on the B string because that's the melody, and then the C, going all the way through to hit the E note. And then I play the first fret open, back to G with the B bass, and then I open that up, E minor, and I stop on that G string because that's my melody note. Then I play the melody, A minor, and then an F chord. This is not a bar chord. I'm not going all the way across. I'm just playing first, second, third, fourth fingers, like that, and then E minor. See that? This is very important because it's easy to play. Now I could do it with a pick if I want to. Check it out. Let's see, E chord. That was just with a pick, right? And I brought out that melody note. If you stop on the melody note, right, you don't want to go all the way through because that melody note gets lost in all of the other notes that are happening. If you don't play it as the highest note, see the highest note? It just soars out there. But if it's not the highest note, like if you play all the way through to the E string, that note gets, that E note is higher, and so it kind of overshadows the melody. See that? Now, on the, let's pull up that other sheet that has all of those notes on it here. You'll notice that there are notes filled in. I have the melody there. 2, 1, 3, 0, 1, 0. See that right there? I'm just putting my cursor right there. If you can see it, if you're not looking on a phone, you might be able to see it a little better. Put your glasses on if you can't see it. Now these other notes, besides the bass notes, they are filler notes, right? They are, right? It's a note in between the melody note. When I don't play a whole lot of notes, I don't try to play notes on top of the melody note, excuse me, on top of the melody note except for the bass note. Right? So when the melody is playing, I only play the melody and the bass note. Oh. So let's, I'm going to take my metronome out. It's on my phone. I use something called Pro Metronome. I use the easy version, the free version. It looks like this. There we go. Let's see if it'll focus back on my face. And let's go a little faster. Dom, dom, dom. Let's slow it down just a little bit. I'm at 96. Ready, go. Oops, let me think about this. Now what I was doing is I was just playing a note in between when there was no melody note being played. Right here. Right, so it goes tick, 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 tick. Like that, right? And so I was just filling in one of the notes. It just can be probably any of those filler notes, any of those chord tones right? Let's use a different one, right? I'm trying to do it a little bit lower, not a higher note. Now, on the lead sheet that I have, it actually looks like this. Oh, I better pull that down so you can see the rest of it. You'll notice that sometimes when I hit those notes, let me put my face on here at the same time. You'll notice that sometimes when I hit those notes, now you don't see that part. Let me pull that part up so you can see it. That last line. I'm putting those quick notes in, but I could take the quick notes out and just put a slow note. Oops. I wasn't ready for that. That was a little tough, right, when you're trying to hold the chord. All right. Now, if I wanted to, I could even put quicker notes in, right, if I wanted to. Let's see. I'm not doing very too well. Right? You can do that kind of thing. I didn't really practice that beforehand. I'm just winging it. So this is what we do, right? Now, I like simple, not too busy. But you can put things in if you want to. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. So I'm okay with that. Now, you could also strum it with a pick. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see, chord, E chord. You do it like I haven't practiced that, but it kind of sounds cool, right? You can make it kind of like a something like that if you really want to. Okay, so we've done these different things. We've played the melody by itself. We played the melody with the bass note. We've strummed the chord and brought out the melody. We've finger-picked simply with a note between the melody notes on the beat. We finger-picked with a complicated thing. We've strummed the chord, bringing out the melody notes, hopefully. That I was trying to do that. Right, I was trying to do that. So those are the different ways you can actually do the whole thing. Now, it's very interesting how when I'm working with students, I tell them sometimes, I'll say, ignore those notes right there. Don't even play those notes. Sometimes it's very difficult for students to try to ignore something that's actually written on the page. I have students that are like, I can't ignore that. How can I even play that when it's in front of me? I'm telling you, you can ignore it. Let's see, I'm going to look at the Dean Harrington says, Hal, did you just do a reggae version of Greensleeves? I get part, then I stall. Dean says, Hal, you're winging it is my next to impossible. Okay. So you're playing around the A minor chord. I keep missing a note here and there. You mean you keep missing a note when I'm playing it, or you keep missing a note when you're playing it? Good question. All right. So that's what I'm telling you, is that you need to learn how to, when you're looking at a piece of music, how to take out and say, okay, what are the basic elements of this? Instead of having to always look for something simpler or something that just fits exactly what you want, what do you do when you come up against a, here, let me pull up, oops, not that one. What do you do when you pull up, okay, where's it at? I'm going to pull up this Greensleeves one more time that has just the melody notes in it. This one right here, I'm going to take myself off the screen again. What do you do when it's not complicated, when it's just the melody and then the chord boxes? Well, that's what I was trying to explain to you just a second ago. You just fill it in, right? Like this. You choose some notes and see if you like it. And if it works, go with it. And that's a really good thing to do. Now, being able to go between chord to chord and also being able to play the melody. Right? I also have, for your information, I also have What Child Is This?, which is the Christmas song, which is basically the same thing. What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet? Right? Same thing. Same melody. Here, let me put it on the screen for you so you can see it. I'll leave it there for a second, so in case you want to do a screenshot. You can find this in the description. Thank you for being here. All right. Is there any questions? Joseph says, I was having the same problem with Danny Boy. Yes, okay. Joseph says, me, when I'm playing, play and fill in with chords? Yes. What are the chords? And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to find out what the chords are so you can play them. Well, you know what? We have come to the end of our live stream today. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to leave because I'm going to go hang out with some friends and supporters. And you can find out how to do that by looking in the description of this video. And you're welcome to come. Thank you for being here. And I will see you really soon. But let's go. There you go. All right, we will talk to you later. Bye.